The Borderlands movie. Ever since its reveal, fans have been incredibly worried about how it was going to turn out, and I mean, for good reason. The first trailer got over 100k dislikes, and the early reviews called it terrible and unfunny. And I'm sorry to report this, but they were right. For a non-spoiler review, I'll say the action hurt my eyes, I barely laughed, and the story was bland. Don't watch it. It's not so bad it's good, it's at best boring, and at worst really cringy. If for some reason you heard all that and still want to see it, this is your spoiler warning. I will be talking about all the major plot beats, characters, and performances. This is your final warning. So, what's going on? I'm Cashew, and this is my review of the Borderlands movie. I'll start off by saying that I am a massive Borderlands fan, and as a fan, I can say that this movie is for no one. Regular people who just want to watch a movie won't enjoy it at all because of its various issues and the fact that they won't understand the references that the movie semi-relies on. But if you are a fan watching it, you get to experience how little they actually took from the source material and be at pain at some of the decisions that were made with the story. Even if you're a parent wanting to know if you should take your kids to it, don't. They'll be bored out of their minds. In recent times, video game movies have clawed their way up to being more respected with successes from the Sonic and Mario movie or the Last of Us and Fallout shows. But this movie plunges back into the old days of like the OG Mario movie with Bob Hoskins. Where to even begin with this? I walked into the theater with very low expectations and a willingness to turn my brain off. Besides me, there were only 4 others in the theater, one of which was the friend I saw it with, and another one which walked out of the movie before the halfway point. The movie starts with narration by Lilith before showing Roland rescue Tina from a cell aboard an Atlas space station. Big missed opportunity to not have Marcus do the opening narration as well, as no Skag getting run over once they get to Pandora. Tina is thought to be the child of Iridia, which basically means that she's a part of the Vault Key. Fucking whatever. For some reason while they're escaping, Krieg busts out of the wall to help with the escape, and then for the rest of the movie is just chill and like the gang's pet almost. The actor for Krieg, Florian Montiano, did do a good job, but the writing and direction let him down so much. He's not really a psycho in any way, besides the only things he says are completely unrelated and yelling. Mostly quotes from BL2 psychos like "I'll lick your spine clean" or something like that, but him just being really tame the whole movie just made it feel really like kind of weird when he was on screen. After the escape sequence, it cuts to the best part of the movie, a needle drop of How You Like Me Now by the Heavy. Hell yeah. Okay, so after that shortly ends, we get our first introduction to Lilith, where she's really uninterested in everything, and this never changes throughout the whole movie. She comes across to me as like super bored or frustrated in most scenes, even when it's not supposed to be so. I notice she mainly speaks in movie tropes as well that feel like the script was written by an AI. Like one of the first things she says is, "I'm getting too old for this shit." Like, seriously? She's created by the villain of the film, Atlas. This guy is literally a Commandant Steele level threat. He shows up to give Lilith a job to capture Tina at the beginning of the movie. He shows up at the end of the second act to say, "You're not doing what I told you to." Even though he's already known for a while because the Lance are like everywhere in the movie. And then he shows up at the end to be the final boss at the end of the film. Atlas is just not present throughout the film, so it feels kind of odd that he's supposed to be the main villain when he's barely in the movie. Lilith then goes to Pandora to find Tina and is eventually greeted by Claptrap, voiced by Jack Black, who is really the only cast member in the film trying to be funny and is alright every now and then. There's one joke in his opening scene that comes to mind where as he's scanning a photo for Lilith, he's singing about it, and when Lilith asks if he could do it without singing, he just goes, "Yes," and then keeps doing it anyways. Claptrap is mainly here though to be a contrived way to forward the plot in most cases. He randomly shows up to Lilith saying that he's programmed to help her specifically and scans Tina's photo to get an exact location. And at a later point in the story, when all the cast are laying low, he randomly goes out into the city alerting the Lance that they're there, only to immediately be undercut by saying, "And then we escape," rendering the entire scene useless. There is so much of this movie that you could just completely cut out and the end result would be the exact same, which is crazy. It's not even a long movie, but it feels like an eternity. But continuing on, when Claptrap finds Tina's location, they find a car, then are basically immediately there. A theme you might have noticed even this early on is that the whole movie is plagued by awful pacing. The characters will just say, "Let's go to Three Horns Divide," or "Next stop, Sanctuary City," and then the next scene just be there. There's never any build up to scenes or agency to the characters. Things just happen and the cast all seem really disinterested in what's going on. Lilith finds Tina in an old Hyperion dump and has a boss fight with her and Krieg before the Lance shows up. This fight fight, honestly, is probably the best the movie has to offer in the way of action. It doesn't drag on for too long and has some cool set pieces. It's not without its fair share of cringe though, with Tina's dialogue being pretty hard to sit through. And that's not a dig at the actress, Ariana Greenblatt, it's really just the dialogue that is impossible to work with, making Tina's appearance in the movie unfortunately being something that you dread from scene to scene. At the climax of this fight though, Commander Knox of the Crimson Lance shows up to capture Tina, and I swear to God, Tina literally says, "You in what army?" To which Knox says, "The one right behind me." This had to be written by an AI, dude. What the fuck? Roland then crashes on the scene and they have a getaway fight that ends with them going through Piss Wash Gully and driving through a Thresher's Mouth. You've seen the trailer, I don't need to harp on about this part. After they get away, the gang is finally all together and no one trusts Lilith until they just decide to, and then they start hunting the vault together. They already have the first vault key piece that they got from Atlas, and to find the seconds, they have to meet up with their expert at Sanctuary. Once they arrive at Sanctuary, they put on disguises that resemble the heads from Borderlands 3, which is pretty cool, but they meet up with Moxie, who is, not good. I think out of all the characters, this might have been the most miscast, which is really saying something. It's not even an age thing at this point. The accent Gina Gershon puts on for the character is like this southern state American mom, and it just does not fit at all. Moxie also recognizes Lilith as she knew her mother, who we find out used to be a vault hunter. While this is happening, Roland takes off his disguise because he recognizes an Atlas soldier at the bar named Larry, who used to be his roommate. Probably the second most pointless character in the film. We'll get to it. He shows up, talks shit, gets electrocuted, and then we never see him again until the aforementioned claptrap scene where he alerts Atlas that they're there for no reason. They then use the password they got from Moxie and go up to meet Tannis, who recognizes Lilith as she knew her mother, who we find out used to be a vault hunter. Wait, what the fuck was the point of Moxie in this movie? There is a lot more of a connection between Tannis and Lilith though, as Lilith's mother gave her to Tannis as she died to look after, but then she didn't because Lilith needed to learn how to be strong on her own. It's dumb. But after assault session by Lilith, Tina tells her that she was made in a lab using blood that was on a vault key. Fucking okay. After Claptrap alerts the Lance that the gang is there, they say, "The next piece is at the Caustic Caverns." Then they immediately arrive at the manhole to the Caustic Caverns. This is probably my least favorite part of the film. By this point, the film had really been dragging on, but the Caustic Caverns / Bloodshot Stronghold is just filled to the brim with action scenes that are an assault on the senses. In all action scenes, it's like the guy doing the shaky cam was literally having a seizure from all the flashing lights that were equally blinding the viewer. It was almost nauseating to watch, especially with one of the later Caverns fights against the rats, where it's just a constant yellow and green flashing light from a black screen that just hurt my eyes. They get through to the storage room where the second vault key piece supposedly is, and Lilith finds it instantly, which is supposed to be a subtle hint that she's a siren, but it's about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face, mate. As they're escaping the caverns, the elevator is stuck, so Roland stays behind to make sure everyone gets out. It's a cool moment that is undercut by the fact that Lilith just teleports everyone in the elevator out once they reach the top. So, sorry, Roland, I guess. Really didn't have to do that. At this point, the gang minus Roland makes camp at the random spot they teleported to, and Tannis tells Lilith that Tina will die when they use her to open the vault, which is, not true at all. And all saying that does is make me think of how out of character that is for Roland, who rescued Tina and now has a bond with her. But this is where Mr. Atlas scene number 2 is, and they do the super fun, great, amazing movie trope of a character walking in just as a call-ins to force a misunderstanding and have the group split up until the final act. But now that they're split up, we can talk about Lilith and what her character really is. Once they're all split up and Tina throws a grenade at Lilith for talking to Atlas, Lilith, with Claptrap, finds her childhood home from where she lost her mother. Her mother was a vault hunter who had the first vault key piece, which if you're following along, means that the blood on the key that Atlas used to make Tina was Lilith's mother's blood. But I shit you not, as they're going through Lilith's old house, they find a drawing she did when she was little, which causes Claptrap to show a fucking holographic message from Lilith's mother that is identical to Star Wars. It is so blatant and bad, it's not treated like a reference at all. The movie wants you to take this 100% seriously, as it's revealed that Lilith is the Firehawk and the real child of Iridia. Fucking what? Oh man, who could have seen that coming, am I right, guys? The remaining cast of Tannis, Tina, and Krieg rock up to the vault because the plot demands it. It's not like none of them knew where it was or or anything. But yeah, surprise, surprise, Tina can't open the vault, and for some reason Atlas was waiting there the whole time, because it's not like he didn't know where the vault was or anything like that. He's also recruited a bunch of bandits led by Crom. Not that you'd fucking know that, because he literally only has one speaking line the whole movie, then dies. Why does he have a poster? Why? I don't understand. This is the most useless character in the film. Atlas also shows up with Commander Knox, as well as a kind of bunker bot from Borderlands 2. Roland then spawns in out of thin air, joining back up to the crew, because it's not like he didn't know where the fucking vault was or anything. And then Lilith and Claptrap teleport in, because it's not like they didn't know where the vault was or anything. But after Atlas tells his goons to kill them, they wait like 5 seconds until Commander Knox, of all people, just comes out of nowhere and says, "No, I'm on your side now. Roland, you were right," and then she instantly gets vaporized by the bunker. When this happened, my friend and I just looked at each other in shock. Because, first of all, what was the point of that? And second, if the bunker laser can instantly vaporize anyone to dust, why don't they just fucking use it again? Like, he does use it a bit more, but only on the one person it doesn't affect, for some reason. Lilith then makes a deal with Atlas that if she opens the vault, he'll let everyone go, to which he agrees. Lilith opens the vault, then gains her tattoos and becomes a siren outright. She shows off her new power by putting force fields around the gang and then awkwardly floating around a bunch. Eventually, the bunker hits Lilith and she falls over, making the force fields go away, putting everyone on the ropes in their respective battles. But then, she makes the incredible decision to stand up like nothing happened and fly up and just instantly destroy the bunker. Krieg then kills Crom by swinging his axe through his body, even though Crom is wearing like metal armor, so it kind of just looks really bad and makes no sense. And finally, Lilith takes Atlas, who was holding Tina at gunpoint, into the vault to get eaten by the destroyer that she somehow knew was there. What a mess. They don't even fight the vault monster at all, or get the treasure in the vault, which was the whole fucking through line of the movie. The gang then goes back to Sanctuary and throws a party. Roll credits. Borderlands is a colossal waste of time. Do not watch it. It's a movie for no one. If you like movies, you hate it. If you like the games, you loathe it. Even if you can turn off your brain and you just like to have done fun and don't even care about the story at all, you will be bored out of your mind. The action is an assault on your senses, with it being super loud and always having bright flashing lights in every fight, not to mention the atrocious shaky cam in parts. The pacing is terrible, the story is terrible, the dialogue writing is even worse, and the casting is crap. It's kind of an odd situation to be in though. Everything else about this movie is so bad that the cast really is the least of your worries while watching it. It's not even that distracting, really. I mean, it's a stacked cast. They're all good actors. None of them besides Florian and Ariana really fit their roles, but they're doing the best they can with what they have. Roland by Kevin Hart was probably the best out of the main characters, as he's kind of just serious throughout the film and never really had any dialogue that was that bad. On the flip side, I really didn't like Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis, which sucks because that's who I thought I was gonna like the most when coming into the movie. The way she talks and acts just feels wrong and lacks any snark or wit that you would expect from Tannis. She is just a nothing character, just there to exposit stuff about the Iridians every now and then. Tina by Ariana Greenblatt was just cringe. Like I said before, that was more of a dialogue thing than the acting, but Tina in this film is just so bad. Krieg, like I suspected from watching the first trailer, was nothing in the movie. You take him out and the movie is the exact same. Claptrap was aggressively okay. He had a few good jokes and it was evident that Jack Black was the only one really trying. And to the team's credit, he actually looked very good in terms of CGI throughout the movie. But sadly, the people who rigged him weren't even credited. So fuck these guys, man. Oh my god. Besides that though, Claptrap is just a walking plot convenience that gets old really fast. And finally, we have made it to Lilith, played by Cate Blanchett. As a character, she starts off as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, which then gives her character nowhere to grow. She ends the film as still the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, but is now also a siren. Same goes for her personality. She starts off not caring about anything, then ends not caring about anything. More so than any other character in the movie, Blanchett just looked bored, like she didn't want to be there. Lilith's emotional throughline with her mother is so rushed that no one will ever care about it. They place so much emphasis as well on it being a huge twist that she's a siren, but the movie made it so obvious at multiple points that it didn't matter. I'll also just mention that there are basically no guns in this movie. Lilith starts off with the Infinity pistol, but then uses it in one scene before swapping to some generic pistols for the rest of the film. There's no no variety of guns at all, and coming from a Borderlands movie, that's pretty disappointing. The movie is not worth paying for any reason, not even for curiosity's sake. Don't even say to yourself, oh, it can't be that bad, because it is. Just trust the people who have seen it. It is. Wait for it to come out on streaming or find some other way to watch it. To end on a more positive note though, I'll let you know that my favorite character was Marcus. He shows up at the beginning of the movie to be a bus driver in a scene that admittedly goes on for too long, but once they reach Sanctuary, the joke has pretty good payoff. But with the way that it was cut, it felt like they wanted to do a rule of threes thing with it. He only shows up the 2 times. But yeah, that was my review. I give it a 1 out of 10 because no one should ever waste their time on this. I really wanted the movie to shut me and all the other naysayers up, but instead it only proved us right with way more wrong than I was ever expecting. And let me reiterate, it's not bad because it's different. It's not bad because it's not like the games. It is bad on a fundamental level. It is a bad movie. But that's all I got to say on it. If you enjoyed, I would really appreciate a sub, but I'm just gonna thank the people who helped me pay for a ticket. Sorry the money didn't go to a better place. My channel members are JBH, who at the drop of a hat is ready to kick your ass in a thumb wrestle. Wesker520, who backflipped off the Empire State Building onto a conveniently placed trampoline. Still broke both their legs, but you know, we take those. Angel B, who was the mastermind behind the Mario movie, the old one, not the new one. Chimby Scrimpy, who saved me $7 by saying a bunch of complicated math words until the price of everything in the store just instantly dropped price. Jaden H, who has really been getting into houses recently, and yes, they have been charged for breaking and entering. Bill Rollins, who actually told me in a voice call that the Borderlands movie didn't look too bad when reacting to the trailer for the first time. Really wish he was right. Handsome Frank 63, who has always had a special place in his heart for money. Thankfully, he's not greedy enough to try and get it. Carlisle McGuinness, who is my idol. If I was half the person they are, I'd be the president of the planet. Tryptophan, who has invented 3 words, galoshes, wallop, and of course, the. All bangers. Vince but just the hat, who is such a homie that he'll kill anyone you want at a moment's notice, just say the word. And Death, who responded to the allegations, and not only did he disprove them all, but ended with a mic drop so sick that his following doubled. Thank you guys for showing the extra support and doing this. If you want to shout out like the legends on screen, you can by clicking the join button just below the video there. But thanks so much for watching, and please, just do anything but watch the Borderlands movie.